So you guys may have saw that. I think I posted a short and maybe a community post of these Frye, Arkansas boots. Purchased these on Amazon, sold by Zappos back in October of 2019. Paid $188 for them. That was really kind of a steal. They were, I think, more like a $300 and something boot. Kind of around the same ballpark of Wolverine 1000 mile, which around that time was, 350, 385, something like that. These, however, were obviously kind of being cleared out on Amazon. I think Zappos sold it, but it was on Amazon. And I had actually seen these. I'll link his video, but the guy's channel's long since dead. I don't know if he died or got arrested or something, but the guy, you've probably seen in some of his videos, The Boot Guy, or maybe you guys are newer to this game and didn't watch his channel years ago. His last post was probably around 2019 or something like that. But anyway, I saw his video, and I was like, man, this looks really cool, and then found them on Amazon in my size, or what I thought to be my size and was my size, and snapped them up for less than $200. The box is nothing too fancy, but it does have some kind of interesting kind of history right there. Focus that on there, and I'll kind of bring it in on the text there, but it's talking about kind of, Frye's history, trademark, quality bootmakers since 1863. Kind of interesting. What's sad is I learned from, I think it was Rose Anvil or some, yeah, I think it was one of his videos. They got like bought out by some, corporation or, some kind of big, some, what was it? I forget what they call it, but something like Warren Buffett's little group. And they've kind of turned it into Chinese-made garbage, so it's kind of sad because they used to be an American boot company, and I wanted to show you guys these because it's kind of neat what they used to make, and it's at the same time sad that they don't make something like this anymore. All that was in the box, I found this was actually still in the box, is this, and then some, what's it called? I think it's actually kind of a... Oh, no, okay, I thought... Oh, yeah, it's a little booklet. Let me open this thing up. So, true craftsmanship. First pair of Frye boots were bench crafted in 1863. So there's a lot of this bench crafted stuff in the box. I'll flip the box around. Take care of your Fryes, leather goods. Frye used to make some nice stuff, and again, it's kind of sad that they've turned into what they are. I think I had the box up before, but you could see this is the... If this can focus here. This is the Arkansas, I guess they're calling it mid-leather, mid-height or something, leather boot. All their boots used to be leather. Color is Cognac. And these are 11M or, 11D. There's a style number, but this is all defunct. This is not the same company that it is now. So, modern Frye is not this. It's kind of trash. But it's kind of neat. If I flip the box around, you can kind of see, there used to be a little bit more pride in what they made here with this whole made in USA, bench crafted since 1863. So, they had a little more pride in their history. And it's just sad that that's gone, Once what was, whatever the saying, is no longer. I did actually just the fronts of these had been kind of chewed up a little bit. So the fronts of these had gotten a little chewed up, so I actually had just done some polish on them like I used to do. On my old boots and shoes, I used to just do shoe polish. I wasn't really doing cream. Well, I guess I had a cleaner cream from Allen Edmonds, but kind of did that in this leather sole. It's a leather sole, by the way. But these did have some scratches on them. But I wore them, a little bit before I kind of switched over to the whole, heavier duty P&W boot space. They're very comfortable. They have a, what's it called? I think it's called a pour-on insole. I'm not going to bother trying to put this up to the camera, but it's kind of like a fancy foam type insole thing. And it's very squishy and comfortable. Allen Edmonds had it in some of their dress shoes for a bit before they switched back to leather. It's very comfortable. The lining inside the vamp is a cloth, synthetic kind of cloth type material. I don't know if it's synthetic, it could be cotton, but it's not leather lined up here. And then obviously the main part of the boot, I guess it's not obvious, you haven't seen it. The main part of the boot is just unlined. There is a little kind of rolled top bit, and the funny thing about the rolled top is I'm not sure this black part of the rolled top is actually leather. It probably is. It's just super cheap leather. It almost has a vinyl-ish feel, but I'm guessing it's probably just a cheap leather. So pretty basic, very lightweight with a leather sole. Their heel top lift or whatever, their heel cap is their own proprietary. Has the Frye, whatever, their little double F logo, and then you can see the leather sole says Frye made USA. Not too much wear again. Worn these a bit, but there's a little bit of wear on the tip. Welt is pretty good, you know. It definitely has the kind of common in this price range back in this day, the plastic heel rand. You see that on, I'm trying to remember other brand. I know Red Wing kind of does that. The Chippewas I had, the the Katahdin LL Bean Chippewa boot. That Chippewa also got sold out and became crap, but that also had a plastic heel rand. I think the Red Wings, it's like a nicer plastic. It's more matte and not as shiny. But, there's definitely some cost cutting. The heel counters, I don't know. They're decent. They could be plastic or something. They feel pretty good. This leather is definitely not, you don't think P&W Space. These are very comfortable. So they're very soft. They called this, or sorry, I guess it was the boot guy called this pull-up leather, but I mean, it's definitely pull-up leather. Put this other camera. Definitely see. It's not super high. I don't know who it's made by. There's no claim or like Horween tag or anything like that. But it's pretty simple. It came with nice, black rawhide laces versus the kind of tan brown ones. Has I guess these are black eyelets. Yeah, these are black eyelets. No hooks. That's kind of neat. More kind of classy. The tongue is leather, obviously, but it also has almost like I guess like a pigskin lining, like a kind of a yellowish leather. I guess is like an additional padding. It's kind of nice. Let's, show you the other boot. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it on the sides there. You could see the Frye. Let me move this in the center here. So it has the Frye logo on the sides of the boot. It's kind of cool. It's like low key. It doesn't have to be big and doesn't have to say Wolverine really big or White's boots or Nick's. It's just kind of this little low key stamp there into the leather. Stitching is fine. It's not bad. It's not. Honestly, it's really good. The only issue I would say is like you see a lot of the cheaper boots. They kind of, I don't know. These corners always kind of roll up. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't see that as much on my P&W stuff. Leather's not the most durable. I can see a lot of kind of dents and stuff in there's it's elastic. I should have mentioned that. It's a stiffer toe, but I think the heel on one of them has some dents. Here's the sole on this guy. Kind of cool. I think there's some kind of burnishing or something they had done, but it's it's just a kind of simple boot. And I guess what really made me think about posting this is what I've seen lately with some of the what I would say are kind of ridiculous pricing situations on all these brands. What kind of set me off today was I posted on Viberg, a Chrome XL 310, and the 310 is one of my favorite boots. It's super cool, but they want $1,065 for a pair of Chrome XL 6-inch Chrome XL boots, or 5-inch. I think they're actually a 5-inch, 5 or 6 inch, whichever. That is kind of insane. They're $990 plus 75 shipping or whatever. That's just seemingly sick. I saw Quality Boots. If you guys follow his channel, he put a post up about, I don't follow JK, but JK Boots has some kind of more similar vibe to this. Not a heavy duty work boot, but probably heavier duty than this. But anyway, they have some kind of, I would say, a more dressy casual boot for $700 and something. Nicks, if you're in the Wicked and Craig stuff, is definitely into the $700 range. They have the Brandel for $1,000 to $2,000. There's just all these crazy prices, and I get that this is 2024, almost 2025, and this was 2019. But I mean, shit, that's not that many years ago, and this was, well, I paid $188, which was obviously a deal. But this was let's just say it's a $325 boot. I don't know what the exact MSRP was. Like, you're able to get a good American-made boot for less than $350 or around $350, and now everything's like the starting place for everything now is $400. And sure, these maybe aren't built quite to that standard, but not everybody needs super heavy duty. I would argue these kind of more old school boot lasts are superior. They have much larger toe boxes for just, this is just a D, a medium width, and the toe box is very generous and kind of anatomical versus the 55, which is a pointy last, the 67, which isn't pointy, but it's kind of pointy. If you look at it from the top, I was realizing this is just because it's so much bigger up here. But all those P&W lasts, they really point into the tip of the toe, and I don't get it. Like, I don't think anybody has feet that pointed, and you got to end up oversizing your boots, which is silly because then they tell you they run big and you need to size down, but you kind of can't size down because if you have any kind of a big toe, it's getting slammed by the curve in up here, and or your little toe being pinched. So you end up literally with the 55, I realized I needed basically to get true to size. I had to get true to size 11.5D just to kind of give my toes a little bit of relief. It doesn't make sense. 67 was my favorite because it's the most generous toe box, but it's still not perfect by any means. Some of my pairs feel tighter than the others. And then, whites, I know they have the 4811. Maybe that one would have been good, but I'm just kind of over it. Kind of over all those logger old school. It's almost like they have so many there. This is kind of a rant now, but they have all those lasts from their legacy, especially whites, going back a long time. And they have to continue to make boots on them because that's their last, and they have this inventory of lasts, and they can't just swap them all out. And everybody ends up with kind of shitty, poor-fitting boots or having to size large or long to give their toes some space. Meanwhile, you have somebody who they criticize, like Drew's boots, who didn't have this legacy and were able to come up with what they're calling the modified 55, which actually has some toe space. So it's like, I think they're kind of locked into their questionable lasts. And maybe it was for, I've heard, I think it was Rose Anvil or someone was saying, they needed that really tight toe box, because he's even talked about their tight toe boxes, maybe because the loggers are on hills and, whatever, throwing logs and whatever they call it, bucking logs, and they can't have their foot move around in that boot. They need to be locked in. And maybe that's why they had it, or maybe they had narrower feet back then. I don't know. But nowadays, you think this is a little bit more on the side of the camp of, the barefoot people, or you see like Jim Green, they have some kind of more generous lasts in the toe. You think of those sneaker companies like Lems, they're actually giving you space for your toes. And I don't know, I think I've kind of come to realization that you can customize and do all this stuff with the P&W stuff, but the lasts that fundamentally make the boot are questionable or, faulty. And why even bother with it anymore, I was just talking in my other video about the PBD last and those engineers from Unsung. It's such a better last. It's so much more generous in that toe box. And this kind of has that same shape. The Truman 20 last, I feel like, has potential because it's, again, has some of that space. And then the other side topic, all those P&W boots with those super high heels, you end up, it's almost like it encourages your foot to go down and smash your toes. And I know it for a fact now because I've been really comparing my 67s in the same size on a moderate heel versus the classic heel. And the classic heel ones all feel tighter because my my foot's basically sliding down in a little bit into the boot. Versus the moderate heels where you're kind of rocked back more like a normal boot, normal shoe, and your weight's more on the back. It's not pushing your toes into the front. It's just like those. Maybe I should just post a whole video about that. But these are the Frye, Arkansas I mentioned. I thought these were a pretty cool boot. And you used to be able to get nice things. We used to be able to have nice things. We could have a USA made boot for a few $100, and now we can't have nice things. So be happy about what's happened in the world, because now you have to pay $400 to $2,000 for an American made boot, and you didn't always have to do that. Truman's the only thing close to this. Cheers.